Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular set of videos, we are talking about E1 and E2 visas. In this one, excuse me, I'd like to talk a little more about the general requirements of an E2 visa. Now, it must be, as far as the commercial enterprise is concerned, it cannot be just a passive investment. So I've had in the past people, they just want to invest in land or stocks and use that as the funds for an E2, and that won't work because you're really not doing anything other than waiting for the money to go up. It needs to be entrepreneurial. So for example, if you do get land that you invest in, if you're going to develop that land, then that would be okay for an E2. Non-profit institutions such as schools or associations, those are not considered commercial enterprises, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Now, a big part of the E2 is the substantiality of the investment. You need to make a substantial investment in order to qualify for the E2. So the question always arises as to what is substantial, and it really depends. It's really a proportionality type test where the amount of the qualifying funds invested are weighed against the total cost or purchasing of the enterprise, and it's the amount that's normally considered to ensure the financial commitment to the successful operation of the enterprise. So for example, if you're going to open up a restaurant, that will take a lot more investment than if you're going to open up a consulting firm. Let's say that you're a business consultant. Well, you need a little office, you need a telephone, secretary, and not really too much more. So you're putting $50,000 to $100,000 in that business. That's no problem at all. But a restaurant, many times will need $250,000 to go forward, so $50,000 to $100,000 investment for a restaurant would not be sufficient. So you need to look also as to whether it's a small or medium-sized business. Obviously, the lower the cost of the enterprise, the higher proportionality the investment must be to be considered substantial. So again, if you're going to invest in a big restaurant, then the proportion of the total investment doesn't need to be as great as if you're going to have a little mom and pop 7-Eleven type place. Now, the Department of State does recognize that the value of the business is dependent upon the nature of the enterprise, and the cost of the business per se is not independently relevant or determinative of qualification for E2 status. So there needs to be sufficient argument that goes forward that allows you to explain why the investment is substantial. Okay, more on the coming video.